Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, a little girl from Perry County is drawing worldwide attention. When Perry County native Adeline Catron was around 6 months old, her parents, Brian and Kayla Catron, were told their daughter was blind. Best case scenario, she might be able to navigate around a room or just see light. Heartbroken by that news, their pastor began asking for people to pray. Brian says he told Kayla they were going to get a second opinion.
The second opinion at Cincinnati Children's was much better. Our doctor even told us that he has patients with this condition that drive, so it was more optimistic, such a relief. And then, immediately we began researching septo-optic dysplasia.
Well, Addie is now a visually impaired 3-year-old with a spunky attitude, a lot of love, and some viral videos that people around the world have fallen in love with. WYMT's Olivia Calfee will have more on this heartwarming story tonight at 6. 37 communities across Kentucky are receiving grants to improve parks through the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Communities will be getting a share of more than $3.9 million awarded. 7 different communities in eastern Kentucky received a chunk of those funds. Community and Economic Development Director Jennifer McIntosh says this funding will help attract tourism and companies.
You can basically improve your parks. You can build new parks, things of that nature. So it is definitely for the growth of recreation.
The projects include new parks and renovating ones already built. We'll have more about it tonight at 6.
Continuing to watch a few scattered showers and even a few thunderstorms pushing through the mountains this afternoon. The severe weather risk, though, is rather small, but the heavy rain threat, if you get under one of these, yeah, you could see a little bit of that. Here's the view from our studios here in Hazard. We've seen a couple good downpours today. Low 60s outside right now. The view from London Corbin Airport, they're kind of in between downpours, if you will, right now. We saw a pretty good shot of one of those moving through a little bit earlier. The wide shot on First Alert Pinpoint Doppler, just scattered showers and thunderstorms up in the Big Sandy, up into Logan and Mingo counties, sneaking on down 119 into Pike County, and even further to the south. Not a lot of lightning with these. Same thing as you head into the center portion of the viewing area, from Jackson down to Canoe there, and parts of Breathitt County along the Mountain Parkway there east of Stanton. Further to the south, this one's got a little thunder and lightning with it on the Bell-Harlan County line. That's coming up 119 toward Harlan over the next few minutes. Tilt that into the vertical. You can see that is reaching into the sky a little bit. So yeah, that one's got a little pop to it, but not a big deal. As we animate everything, you see everything here is pushing off to the east and to the northeast. But look behind this as you head back towards Somerset. Yeah, not a lot behind that. We've warmed up to near 70 ahead of these storms, but low to mid 60s otherwise. We'll continue to watch these as we head through the evening. They'll start to taper off as we start to drop the temperatures toward 50 overnight. I'll have the details, though, on when some scattered showers return in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. Police in West Virginia are asking for help tracking down those responsible for vandalizing a cemetery west of Charleston. Kimberly Donahue spoke with someone whose family member's final resting place was destroyed.
A place for reflection.
Come in to check on my family who are buried here.
Connection to the past.
My people, my mother's people are from here. We're talking 150 years ago.
But now, a place of heartache for Danny McKee. Discovering Thursday his family's headstones were some of the many damaged in a spree of vandalism at Verner Cemetery over the last few days.
When I heard there was vandalism out here, first thing I said, well, I got to go out here and see what damage is done to my family's markers. And I don't know, they're knocked over, so I don't know if that was part of the vandalism or not. This is an old cemetery. First thing I knew, I better get out here.
Danny says he hopes whoever is responsible for destroying his family's graves and so many others in the cemetery comes forward, helps clean up, so everyone buried here can truly rest in peace.
You never know. Kids, what they're going to do. It's just having fun. And that's probably what they were doing out here, but I don't know why they pick on this place. But even when you're dead and in the ground, people's not going to leave you alone. Yeah, I hope they don't come back. Don't come back. If you do, bring some flowers.
Kimberly Donahue, WSAZ, News Channel 3, Putnam County.
An Indiana woman has made a discovery about her great-great-uncle who served in the Civil War in the Union Army. She recently was given his remains and possessions. 2 years ago, Rachel Bender inherited paperwork that showed she was the great-great-niece of Isaac Hart from Massachusetts. Then just last November, she received an email from a man searching for Hart's next of kin. That man found Hart's remains sitting on a shelf in the unclaimed division of a cemetery in Cincinnati. Remains that likely had been there for 110 years since Hart's death in 1913.
This is part of their history. They fought in the Civil War and died. And Isaac, what he did volunteering was quite a big step. He just had to be extremely brave.
The documents mention the signature of President Andrew Johnson, the 17th President of the United States. And so today, Major Isaac Hart is buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Pope Francis today blessed hundreds of worshipers gathered in front of the St. Stephen's Basilica in Budapest. The crowd followed the Mass on screens installed in front of the Basilica. Francis delivered a speech calling for Hungarians to show solidarity with the poor, migrants, and persecuted Christians. The Pope warned of the dangers of rising nationalism in Europe. The three-day visit is the 86-year-old Pope's first trip since he was admitted to the hospital for bronchitis in March. In Ukraine today, several people are dead in the city of Uman after an early morning Russian missile strike. A news-gathering team at the site of the attack saw bodies carried out of a decimated residential building. Local officials told them that 3 children were among the dead. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier said on Twitter that 2 children killed in Uman cannot be identified and the fate of their parents was unknown. CNN is reporting the death toll from Russia's cruise missile and drone strikes overnight is now 19. Protesters today in Paris, France, blocked access to the site where the 2024 Olympic swimming pool complex is being built. The demonstration was carried out by opponents to the French government's unpopular pension reform. French President Emmanuel Macron's plan to raise France's retirement age from 62 to 64 was enacted into law earlier this month. There have been months of protests and strikes, with France's main labor unions vowing to continue action. Today's demonstration lasted for almost an hour before protesters dispersed peacefully. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, has signed with the talent agency William Morris Endeavor. The agency's management says they will work with the Duchess to build out her business ventures in many areas, including television and film production. According to Variety, the agency will also represent Harry and Meghan's company Archwell. Through Archwell Productions, the Sussexes have a multi-year production deal with Netflix.